This is Lomo Purple, long derided as a poor man's aerochrome. Lomography's Lomo Purple has had a love-hate relationship with the film community. To test out this film stock, I headed down to the South Island, where I mainly was staying in and around Christchurch. At the back of my uncle's house, I took this shot that would normally stand out. But with this film stock, it just doesn't. Sure, the greens stand out, but I've noticed man-made objects often look awful with this film stock. Though animals do tend to stand out, so they contrast with the purple foliage, man-made objects do not. In my red scale video, I showed that the film stock lends itself to night photography very well. I was hoping that maybe I would get a cool purple neon look with this gas station. But alas, I was disappointed. For the most part, this looks quite normal. The next day, I headed out and tried to maximize my foliage shots across the city that was once referred to as the Garden City. Again, any man-made objects kind of look meh with this film stock, though whites do stand out quite clearly, which is kind of a look. I think overall these shots seem like they are lacking in colour, in particular vibrancy and saturation, though this one shot is a little bit better. Whilst not a great shot, this photo of the birds still stands out more, and it shows where I think this film is best suited. As the sun settled down, I headed out to capture some blue hour, and I really shouldn't have, as the colour shift here is awful with a weird green coming forth, and the film doesn't have the biggest dynamic range, so it's easy to miss exposure. I then headed into the CBD and tried to get a range of neon shots to see if this film would hit. It did not. Most of the shots just have weird colour shifts that are not even purple and just low in saturation. Though I will note this film kind of balances the more greenish tinge of tungsten lighting and works a bit better in orange lit areas, but overall it was pretty disappointing. I'm not gonna lie, I was disappointed with these photos. So, I did some research, and after watching a few videos and reading a few forums, I hatched a plan. Now usually I experiment with film and just film, and don't use digital for testing. But as I'd given my other 35mm roll to Ching, and I had Dehancer, which has what I would say is a pretty spot-on emulation of Lomo Purple, as you can see by my video. Full disclosure, Dehancer reached out to me after I'd already come up with this idea, so I thought I'd show this little excerpt. I don't really like the idea of sponsorships, but this is actually a program that I actually got as a birthday present for myself by my partner. I thought I'd show you how I use this program and why you might want to use Dehancer too. I loaded the photos into Final Cut Pro which is my main video editor. I then went ahead and added the Dehancer app plugin. Then I chose the Lomo Prime film profile, which is set at a base profile of about 100, I believe. Then I tweaked the settings just to get the film to look how I would want it to look, or how it would be scanned possibly by a lab. I used this film emulation because 1, I wanted to see as a comparison, but 2, I didn't want to spend any more money on shooting any more rolls. I already had 2 rolls planned on the Fujica 617 and the Mamiya C220. Going out and shooting with a digital camera to give yourself an idea, and then shooting with film later on to get something that you are really after, whether it be on a particular format, isn't something that should be frowned upon, especially if a film stock is particularly difficult. If you like the idea of Dehancer, I recommend the free trial. If you want to purchase it, use this promo link here, which is down in the description below. Now that I had a clear understanding of what would work, I decided to focus on shooting Lomo Purple at the Botanic Gardens. To me, it was clear that man-made objects like buildings and neon lights often look awful on this film. But the luscious greens of the Botanic Gardens, on the other hand, should produce nice purples, with a variety of different coloured flowers, providing a sense of difference, often sprinkled through the strong purple tones. We almost missed getting these flowers. I wanted them before they fully bloomed, and luckily we had a sunny day, as the flowers popped nicely here, with their pinkish hues turning a nice golden yellow, standing out very well against the purple.
Okay, that's recording.
One thing I would say about shooting this film stock is if you are shooting a person, think about what colours they are wearing. As you can see, I've chosen this red shirt for a reason. For the most part, it stays true. If they don't have red, choose dark colours, such as dark browns, dark blacks, etc. These colours do not colour shift much, so they do not look strange on your subject. Lomo Purple keeps skin tones intact with only a slight change in hue. You want the backdrop to look weird, not in your model. When I shot this film, I decided to avoid the sky as much as possible. It's just an odd colour hue. Some enjoy it, but I don't. I was lucky that this location allowed me to encapsulate Ching with these strong purple tones around her to make an otherworldly image, without having the sky as a bit of a distraction with its odd hue. This photo encapsulated this project, trying to master Lomochrome Purple. Now, I said man-made objects don't look good with this film, and this is mostly true. However, if the object is white, you can use it in color swapped films, as it still produces whites as whites. This is because the blue and green channels have been switched, but the red channel still stays the same, and all of the channels equal white, regardless in what order they are put. So with this film, only some of the colours are switched, but blacks will basically stay black, whites will stay whites, colours that work off the red channel will stay red, whereas the colours that work off blue and green will be the ones that switch. This film is quite divisive, with some absolutely loving this film's uniqueness, whilst others deriding the film stock for being both tacky but also low quality. We live in divisive times, and this film stock could even be called a testament to that. Now, where do I sit on the line? Well, to be fair, I kind of sit on the fence. I do think it's a pretty low-res film stock, with possibly too much grain. And I've seen some tacky photos, but I think this is more about people's misunderstanding of how to correctly use a more unique film stock to its best suited means. And whilst that opinion is primarily a sense of taste, let me show you what I mean. After using Lomo purple, I do agree with many of its worst qualities, but I love a challenge, and I actually quite enjoyed trying to master this film stock, and I think I may have done so. You will see in a future project where I shoot this on the Fujica 617, and here is my photo where I think I mastered shooting this film.